Mary Louise Zeller, and you're going to be so excited to hear about her. But first, I want to tell you just a little bit about Kyani, about the product, and what it has done for me. 14 years ago, I found out I had diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and I had some crippling arthritis. I took medicine, all the prescriptions that I was given. I didn't get better. I didn't feel better, but it kept me somewhat balanced to take the medications over the years. In July of 2010, I met Mary Louise, and we sat down for a little business meeting, and she explained what had happened to her life on the Kyani, Kyani, that's Kyani, and you can find us, kyani.net. And she explained what the products had done for her. So in July, I tried the products. I began taking them, and by the third day, my blood sugars were too low, and I called my doctor and said, "What the world?" And he said, "What are you doing?" And I told him, and he said, "Well, either stop the medication or stop the Kyani products." So I stopped the medication, and from that day to this, I have had perfect blood sugars. They range right between 96 and 101, and that's pretty good when you're just being a normal person out there and you think you've had a really struggle, and you have had a real struggle, and I did with diabetes for 14 years. And then within 2 weeks in that July period, just over a year ago, I realized that my head was kind of light, and I called, and I'm not lightheaded, and I called my doctor, and he said, "Your blood pressure's too low." So by the end of the month, I was off of anything for diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I had normal everything, including the pain for my arthritis was gone. So I know that these products work for me, and I want to invite you to try them, to listen to what we're talking about today, and I think you'll be impressed and excited. It is great fun. My hands have been crippled, but the pain is gone. I couldn't make a fist a year ago, and now I can. So a lot of changes in my life. A side effect that was just totally unexpected was an enormous amount of energy. I feel like I'm 20 years younger than I really am, and it's a wonderful feeling to have that kind of energy. So we're going to talk to you about that this morning. Mary Louise is a winner in everything that she does. No matter what she has tackled, she has been successful, except she struggled a little bit with some products over the years that didn't quite have the response that these have had. So we're going to talk about that. Good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
I want your whole life history. I've heard it, and it's good, and I want you to share it with everybody.
Share my life history.
Well,
okay.
Maybe not all of it. Except we do have to mention this, and I just, as soon as she starts talking, I go to my native language, which is very Southern.
Which is Southern.
I was raised in South Carolina, and you were raised in
Atlanta, Georgia, where people know how to talk.
That's right. It's our native language, and we're proud of it.
It's part of my strategy in Taekwondo is to fool people and make them think that I'm very genteel and would never harm a fly, and then I kick them in the head. So.
Well, maybe we should go there first and explain that.
Well, I've been doing Olympic sport Taekwondo for about 25 years, and I started very late in life when a lot of people are slowing down. I've been athletic my whole life. I used to jump horses in international competition. In high school, I played team sports. And I've always been most alive when I'm playing games. And I don't think it's a lot of fun to get older and not be able to play games. So I just kept playing games. And I started Taekwondo when I was about 38 years old. And then
isn't that kind of late? Speaking of age there, I mean,
yes.
Does everybody start Taekwondo at 38?
No.
It seems to me it's 10 or 12.
This is true. And I felt, like a beached whale trying to play with dolphins, with the teenage boys, most of them. And I don't know why it drew me. It's more fun than weightlifting, aerobics, and running, for sure. And it just brought me alive. I had my last child when I was 44 years old.
Oh my, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's 23 now. And I had started Taekwondo before he was born. And then it took me, people thought he was a late life accident. And I said, I must be accident prone because I had 4 pregnancies trying to get him here. And so you know, the incidence of miscarriage is very high when you're over the age of 30 and or 35. And so I finally did get him across the bridge. And then I was the most out of shape I'd ever been in my whole life. And I saw an ad for Taekwondo and it looked like more fun. And I went in.
You mean kicking and getting hurt is really
Kicking and getting hurt is
what's
more
the matter
fun.
with you?
I don't know. There's always been a little something the matter with me.
Good matter, good matter.
But this Korean master, my master out in Benicia, California, Master William Kim, now a grandmaster, is kind of like Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid.
Right.
And I was just going in to inquire about lessons. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. And he gives me a uniform and he says, here, put this on. Well, when a master tells you, here, put this on, you go, okay. And then we did our first lesson and I felt totally awkward. Yeah. But yet at the end of it, I felt very enlivened. And that got
so
to
you
be,
actually felt energy from the workout, from what you were going through. Okay. Because not everybody has that response in athletics at all. Sometimes it's a downer for them. They feel like they can't make it.
Well, you have to go through that part.
That's good. Okay.
I talked to a man who said, oh, I tried Taekwondo for a week and it was too hard. I was sore in every muscle of my body. And so I quit. And I thought, well, what's the matter with you?
After 1 week.
I couldn't even sleep. I hurt so bad. I had to bounce on my bum. That's Southern for your rear end. I had to bounce on my bum going down the stairs for 2 weeks. And I got so sore, I slept in the bathtub. It is a wonder I didn't drown. And I kept going because there was something about it that was the most alive I had felt in years. And I loved Master Kim. And so he said, come back tomorrow. And I did. And I kept coming back tomorrow after tomorrow after tomorrow. And this went on for about a year. And I was getting back in shape. And I wouldn't run for running's sake, but I will run for Taekwondo. I don't like weightlifting, but I will weightlift to get stronger for Taekwondo. So I began engaging in all of those, and then the body responds. And I just loved it. And then one day he says, we're going to a competition. Now I figure I am past my prime, and I'm already middle-aged, almost 45. And when he said we were going to go to a competition, I thought he meant, you know, let's just have you cheerlead, make sandwiches, and drive, the mommy things. And he goes, no, you will compete. He didn't ask me, did I want to? He just said, you will do it. So I did compete that day. And my heart was just pounding out of my chest. But somehow I made myself walk up to that line. And we were doing full contact sparring. We wear protective gear. And at that level, I was probably maybe a blue belt at that level.
Was all this in Atlanta?
No, okay. I
Okay.
was living in California at the time.
Okay.
I left God's country and went to
California.
Went to the, yeah. And, but anyways, I felt so alive after I competed. And that lasted throughout the 20, 25 years I competed. Every time I walk up to that line and I would say, what am I doing here? This is crazy. I'm way too old for this. This is nuts. And my mind would just be having a war with me, but I would make myself just go ahead and do it anyway. And I fought full contact for 20 years, and I won so much in my division.
Let's tell them how much you won.
Oh, how much did I win? Well, I won 20 U.S. national gold medals, U.S. national champion, 20 years running, in technique and in the full contact sparring. My love has always been the technique, which, if you see this, it says U.S. national team, Pumse. Pumse is the Korean word. It's a Korean martial art, and that's the Korean word for technique and forms. And that's always been my love. I'm a detail-oriented person, and I'm very disciplined. I will get into something and practice it, and practice it, and practice it, and practice it. And that's what champion takes.
And that is what you are, as a winner. And you started that a long time ago.
Well, You can say that after the fact. When you're engaged in doing full contact sparring and you're always the oldest and you don't win for 2 years, you think to yourself, I am just an old fool. You're only a winner after you keep going. And that's the characteristic
That's interesting.
that champion takes. And that's why I'm being successful with Kyani, because I did not know what I was doing, like I didn't know Taekwondo.
Years ago, I interviewed a swimmer. I've forgotten his name. It's been so long ago, but he was an Olympian. And I said, what does it take to be a champion? And he thought for a minute and he said, when you have nothing left, when there is nothing more to give, you reach down inside of your brain and your body and you pull out that next stroke and the next one. And you're so determined. He said, it doesn't have that much to do with talent. It has to do with determination and consistency. And you know it's inside of you and you go for it. And that's what makes the champion.
I call it leave it all on the mat. I had a coach who used to tell me, he was the U.S. national team coach, and he would say, you have to be willing to die out there.
Oh.
And I thought he was not speaking literally. I thought he meant figuratively speaking, you have to be willing to die out there.
There are a lot of people that don't really understand what Taekwondo is because we think of it as maybe a little bump here and a little bump there. But I've seen you after a meet and...
No, Taekwondo is a Korean martial art, and about, I'd say 40 years ago, the Koreans were determined to make it an Olympic sport. They sent out Korean master missionaries all over the world to spread Taekwondo. They did something that karate, the Japanese, did not do, or Kung Fu, the Chinese, did not do. They organized themselves into one worldwide organization with one worldwide curriculum. And that's very important. You have to have a worldwide governing body and at least 100 member nations to be an Olympic sport. And they set out to do it. It took them 25 years, and they did it.
But this is a very physical sport.
It is very physical. Many sports are. Boxing is very physical.
Yeah, but I don't think we think of the martial arts as being, unless you're really serious about killing somebody, I don't think of it as being exerting the kind of energy that I know that you put out.
Sure, it is a sport that requires speed, strength, endurance, balance. These are often things that you don't say in the same sentence with 68 years old.
Which now you just gave away your age.
Yes.
Okay,
and
so
I'm proud of it.
So this is a kicking business.
It's a kicking art.
And to the head?
Yes, they're most known, Taekwondo is most known for their high kicks. Karate is more body and leg kicks.
Now, I have to tell you, about a month ago, I was at Mary Louise's home up above Sundance, and we were having a meeting about Kyani, which we'll get to eventually here. And she was explaining this Taekwondo and how she had gotten involved. And then she was taking the products, explained that. So she was showing us how it worked. And she did, I don't know how many curls with one arm before taking the sunrise and the nitro
extreme.
And then you did more after, and I could see the veins in your neck, but you were going with it. Then she takes her right leg and pulls it up next to her ear and drops straight down into a split. There was dead silence in the audience. We didn't know if you'd fallen over or what you were doing. We all stood up to see that she was in this perfect split like this, 68 years old.
Yes, that's often what that you don't see people my age doing. Sometimes at 68 they have difficulty walking.
It's true. So then let's go to this. Let's segue to this because you were already a winner before you got involved.
Yes, I was.
In practically everything you have ever done. And when this came along about 2.5 years ago, now you hear me, I got my southern accent going.
Yes, I do.
Falling into my little
2 years and 9 months, but
2
who's
years
counting?
You are. What happened? You heard about it.
Well, I think you know this, that my degree is in biology. My university degree is in biology. And I have studied nutritional supplementation for health even when I was 25. people would say, "Dearie, do you have a deficiency?" Because I took megavitamin therapy even then. And I would say, no, I don't know why I've had a passionate interest in that, but I always have. I read research like some people read novels. I just enjoy it. I speak the language, Southern accent or not. I actually have an education. People just think you're stupid when you talk this way. But I do read medical books on these kinds of supplementation. I have never been one to use much allopathic medicine. There have been times in my life where definitely I did use it, but not on a regular basis. I will opt for producing optimum health and high performance. So when I got into sports, and like I said, I was always into sports. So I was always looking for high performance and not
Things
just
that would enhance that.
yes,
Yeah, okay.
physical. A lot of performance is definitely mental. So I was always looking for a mental clarity, a mental edge, and studying more and more nutrition. So I've written a book called Secrets of the Fountain of Youth. Mike Akagi, who is a 60-year-old world-class runner, Japanese American, was teaching at a university in Hawaii, English as a second language, and also coaching track. And he and I have been friends for 20 years, and we would share products, and we always laughed and said we should write a book because we could save people a lot of money, because we have taken everything that is legal, we have taken to get greater performance, because he also is an athlete who never wants to stop playing the game.
Right.
And we have that in common. We're both very passionate about the science, and we're very passionate about results. So Mike called me, and we had that kind of relationship, of course, over the years. And he called me to tell me about Kyani. And he also had this issue where he was an adjunct professor at BYU Hawaii. And that means you get paid hourly. And if you don't teach, you don't get paid.
And also I understand that his hours got cut and cut.
Right. The foreigners, I guess in this economy, were not coming. And he was teaching English as a second language.
Right.
So they were cutting his hours from 8 hours a day to 1 plus his coaching. Well, you don't raise 5 children and maintain a home. His wife went back to work, and they still weren't making it. And they had a couple kids in college and one on a church mission. And his oldest daughter was helping support the child on the mission. And he was like, I'm going to be living on the beach, Mary Louise. I want you to do this as a business with me. Well, I think everybody has tried their hand at network marketing.
At some time or another,
Sometime or another, and who would not be enrolled in the dream of residual income?
Everybody wants
having lots of people on a team working to produce income, everybody winning, and it never was the reality. So I was like, no, 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 no. I only play games that I can win, that I actually have a chance to win. And in network marketing, I experienced not ever being able to win, no matter how much discipline and commitment. So I'm a person, if I put the discipline and commitment, I think I should
win.
And I couldn't win. So I said, I'm not going to, if you think the products are great, we have that kind of relationship. Here's my credit card. He goes, Mary Louise, I have done every one you've asked me to do. You'll get your credit card, but you will do this business with me.
And
he said, and I am your friend, and I'm going to be living on the beach if you don't, because I don't have any options. I'm delivering pizza at night.
Oh, my.
And my wife is working, and we still can't make it. And I was like, what do you do then? Rip the heartstrings, you know, he's my friend.
He used the real friendship card.
He pulled the friendship card out. And so I jumped in, and my husband said, well, I trust you'll get our initial money back. If you want to do one more of those things, who am I to stop you? He's a really good man. And so then I jumped in. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do. I didn't have a clue, but Mike says, here's what you do. You talk to people. I said, I can do that. And then Steve Nimatololo, who lives here.
I've never felt you were a salesperson. I need to say that. that you're a person that shares.
I call myself a shares person.
You do. And anything that you find exciting or interesting, you do share it. So I can imagine you really took after this because you wanted to share.
I'm a coach.
Right.
I always tell my students, feel free to pass me by. I want you to be greater than I am. That is a deep, profound satisfaction for me. So I drive my students like my master drove me. He treated me like somebody who could do it. He did not treat me like an old woman, like an old fool. He wanted me to be a champion. I am one of his greatest joys in life.
I bet. I can imagine.
I really am. And I treat my students that way. So I love for people to win around me. And I say that's who I am. Who I am is the spirit of champion alive in the world. And if you're around me, you're going to win.
It's true.
And Kyani is a game you can win.
So you got into Kyani.
And I started studying the products to start with. And I went, holy cow, what in the world have we got hold of here? A lot of network marketing companies do bring some pretty good healthy products to market. And that's why I had dabbled in it, because I would get interested in a product. I have never in 40 years come across a trio of products they call the triangle of health, like these products, in terms of real results in the human body.
I don't think any of us had. We've all tried different things.
Real performance.
And let's talk about what they did for you.
Okay. Well, the Kyani Sunrise, of course, take it in the morning.
And then I always tell people you can put these in your purse because this bottle weighs too much to put in my purse.
Travel around the world. Now that I am a world-class businesswoman, as well as a world-class champion,
we carry these.
And they're really good to hand out as a sample and have people try it because it's very good tasting.
Okay, the top tier's off. Come on, Mary Louise.
Oh, we're going to
do this.
Product.
This is
love
Sunrise.
This.
And this is full of minerals, vitamins, and a lot of other stuff that we're going to tell you. Here we go.
I roll mine like a roll pop, like the little kids do. And about 15 years ago, nobody ever heard the word antioxidant.
It's true.
And now you know that if you want to slow the disease and aging process, you will do antioxidants, because the American diet, people are not eating enough real food. And they are eating a lot of refined and packaged and not real food. This is all food-based.
White flours and sugar. And
right, refined sugars and too much fat. And this is real food, but it's not only just real food. It is superfood. And superfoods have super results. And all the trillions of cells in your body, they love getting good super nutrition.
And the basis is the Alaskan blueberry.
The wild Alaskan blueberry.
Because it grows wild on the tundra.
Yeah. You put stress on a muscle, you make your muscle stronger. These blueberry plants in Alaska are stressed. They have sometimes 100 degrees below zero. If you took a blueberry plant, a bush, from the lower 48 states up to Alaska, it would not survive one season.
Because of the weather.
They grow wild in a tundra region, tens of thousands of acres, and they've been doing that for centuries. And they have an adaptogenic quality to them. They have adapted to stress and strengthened. Well, you eat the fruit of this plant, you get that adaptogenic benefit. A university in the U.S. did a study about 2 years ago. I think it was MIT or another Boston university. Did a study on 40 fruits and vegetables, and even the lower 48 states, domestic farm blueberry, came out on top in ORAC, or antioxidant value. There are two reasons why people age and get disease, and it is free radical damage and inflammation.
That's it.
Our products profoundly impact those two.
Because it's loaded with antioxidants.
Loaded with antioxidants. The ORAC value, ORAC means it's an acronym that says oxygen radical absorption capacity. So just a normal function of the cell. I'll try not to get too biological. My husband says I make people fall over from boredom with science.
I don't think they're bored this morning. You tell us.
But anyways, In the normal process, there is oxidation to produce energy, very much like the engine of a car. It produces sludge in the engine just from the oxidative process to produce energy from the car. And our bodies work the same way. And these free radicals then bombard other cells to steal electrons, and they damage those cells. And if you're not consuming enough antioxidants that then go in and bind those free radicals, you're doing damage to your cell, enough damage you get sick.
Does this have anything to do with enzymes at all? That question was asked the other day. If there's enzymes, or do we need enzymes, or what are enzymes anyway?
We do need enzymes for digestion and this process of utilizing nutrients. When I first started Kyani, we're going to have a very real conversation. I guess most people wouldn't say this. We're not even editing because this is live. It was not pasteurized. And it was rich in enzymes. Well, when you do pasteurization, that's with high heat, you make sure that there are no pathogens or bacteria in the product, and the government requires it.
The
pasteurization.
Right.
So at least they came in, they do what's called flash pasteurization. But it does destroy some enzymes. All fruits and vegetables have plant enzymes. And the older you get, your body doesn't produce enough enzymes either. All those processes slow down, and you have to get more and more enzymes from your food. Well, if you have packaged food, it's all been processed, there are no live enzymes left in them. You need to eat live plants to get live enzymes.
Mary Louise, let's let folks know where they can find more information about this. If you will call 801, is our area code 801 362 9552. 362 9552. I'll leave your name and phone number, and we'll be happy to get back to you and give you more information on how to get these products and how to benefit from them. Also, if you want to ask a question now, there is a chat room on the bottom of the screen if you're watching this at pat.utahvalleylive.com. By all means, let us know you're out there. Type in your name, make a comment, ask a question. We'll be happy to answer it for you. And Mary Louise Zeller is my guest. She is a champion all the way. Wait till you hear the very end of this story, what just happened yesterday to her, the end of the month, last couple of days, and to me and several others. It's been a very, very exciting time to be involved in these products. And I might mention what Mary Louise is sharing with you today, she shared with me in July of 2010, and that's how I became involved in these products. So this is a whole food in itself.
Yes.
It's now become my home storage.
Yes. Well, you could maintain life at a very high level.
You could, and I am. One of the side benefits, you mentioned aging. It helps with aging, and I believe that because I'm experiencing it. But the other thing, and I don't quite know this, maybe with your background you could make it more clear, this has a number of vitamins and minerals in it, and I'm not hungry anymore. So I've been losing weight for the last year.
That's a good thing for your
body. It is
a
very good thing. And people say, well, what if I'm too thin? And so clarify this. I feel like these products together have balanced my body.
Yes.
And I'm not hungry. I'm not hanging on the refrigerator door looking for what to eat or snacking between meals. And so the weight is coming off. And the energy is remarkable. So this is by itself the most remarkable product I've ever had.
It is indeed.
However, we've got a couple more things that we want to talk about. Now, I opened this box up yesterday because I'm going to take this on the air also. So let's talk about the sunset, which is a companion to the sunrise.
Well, let me just briefly.
Yeah, maybe clarify why this is working.
For your benefit. This is based on the wild Alaskan blueberry, which, like I said, it has a very high antioxidant value. But then they've added goji berry, which for me is like a perfect food. It is a berry, and it has 18 essential amino acids and omega-3s and omega-6s, a berry.
Okay.
Plus, it's very anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, very rich. And then they've added raspberry, cranberry, pomegranate. We know pomegranate's very good for cardiovascular health. Aloe vera, noni, bee pollen, grapes, grape skin, grape seed extract. So it's rich in resveratrol, again, very good for cardiovascular function. Anytime you have good cardiovascular function, you also have good brain function and good function of the entire organism. Then they added liquid vitamins and minerals. That's important because if you take tablets and pills, you're going to be absorbing only 30 to 40%. So you're throwing away your money. I spend half on this product. It's only $32 a month. And I was spending probably more than double just for vitamins and minerals. And I study vitamin and mineral formulations and only would buy online. I would rarely buy in a health food store because I didn't think the formulations were good enough. And then you want a liquid form. Most liquid form vitamins and minerals taste terrible. This is very good tasting.
It is so good.
And I was really surprised to see that it has 25 milligrams of B complex, even 3,000% above the minimum daily requirement for vitamin B12, which is going to boost the immune system. It's 3,000 times more than what they call the minimum daily requirement.
So is this more than anything out on the market?
As
far as we know?
This is, well, I divide my supplements into leading edge and breakthrough. This is a leading edge product.
Okay.
You cannot, is it great? It's got 1,000 milligrams of taurine, not synthetic, but food-based taurine. Taurine is an amino acid that is very necessary for cell function to produce energy. Very important for muscle function. So for an athlete, that's really good. But for the average person, you get energy, and I call it life force. In Taekwondo, you train the very life force. You focus life force.
So this is in a bottle.
This is in a bottle. And this product, you get up in the morning, you take 1 ounce, not 4 ounces, not 4 bottles a month.
This that we just took in here is 1 ounce.
1 ounce.
Yeah.
And you take 1 ounce 1 time a day, and you have energy like this all day long. Well, when I hit 60, I was driving myself with my strong will.
I'll be 60 any day now.
Yes, I know. And by the way, Pat, since you've been on these products in the last year,
It has
your
changed.
skin has
It's
better.
changed.
Your
Everything.
spirit, your life
It's
is
true.
alive again. When I met you, you were kind of ashen in color.
Listen, I had my kids
Sorry, but
making
now
out
that you're
my
good.
will. You know, I paid off my burial. Really 2 years ago. 2 years ago,
my
I had
gosh.
had some automobile accidents, had trouble recovering from them,
Yeah.
and I started on these products thanks to you. We
Good.
sat down together, and it just within months I was off of all
Yeah.
medications. That was $300 and more that I was paying for medications.
Oh yeah, so these products are very cheap for you.
They are, and so this
For me too. I was spending $500 a month on supplements, and
I
now I'm
know.
only spending $120.
right, and for all three, and
For all
that's
three.
amazing.
For all three.
All right, so
Okay, so that's this one. Best money can buy. Antioxidants, are they important? Absolutely. Great nutrition that goes right into the cells in a form that they can use. Absolutely leading edge, highest quality you can buy. Has a 37,000 ORAC or antioxidant
which
value.
is huge.
Huge. And you know, you can talk this exotic fruit, this exotic fruit. It's like, I like giving Americans jobs. You know, I think this is good old American product. I don't care if it's Alaska, I claim them. Okay.
Absolutely.
Give those Eskimos jobs. I'm all for it. So I like that it's American produced. Now, this product, these two, we are getting into breakthrough products in human health. Now, Sunset, of course, Sunset, take it at night. And Sunset,
I don't know where to pour these. You can see them, but they're little.
yeah, at least they're not horse pills,
No, and they're gels,
and they're
soft.
gold, so don't drop them.
That's right. Don't drop them.
These are based on
They're
the,
just little bitty guys, and they're easy to swallow.
they are.
and,
Even my sister has trouble.
oh,
She
yeah,
gags.
people
I
do.
do handfuls, and she gags
Yeah.
watching me.
And sometimes
she
I take
swallows
them at
these easily.
dinner. Take this in the morning, and sometimes I take these at dinner.
Yeah.
And sometimes I take them before I go to sleep, and sometimes I take them both times.
Yes.
And I find that crazy legs that many of us have, where they keep moving at night, once we get to bed, I can't get my legs to quit. No more. Not for a year. I take 3 of these.
Yeah. Well, when you kick all day long, they're too tired to move. Jump at night. I've never had that problem.
I'm glad you have been kicking at me, Mary Louise.
I have never had a problem sleeping. I can sleep anywhere, anytime. Give me a chair, and I.
God.
You know. But anyway,
Okay.
based on the wild, doctors are all telling people they need omega-3s. The American diet is very, very deficient in omega-3. very high on omega-6s and very low. It should be something like 3 to 1 of omega-6s to omega-3s, or 2 to 1. Can't remember. But anyway, not 40 to 1.
No, no.
And that's what our diet is. And that's causing rise in cardiovascular disease, but also brain diseases. And omega-3s are very, very important to brain.
Alzheimer's?
Alzheimer's, dementia, very, very important to brain function.
Okay.
Okay. So now,
I'm going to take the whole bottle.
Yeah, wild Alaskan sockeye salmon is really a purity. The doctors don't make a distinction about where does this omega-3 come from? What is the quality of fish? If it is from a fish farm, it is loaded with toxins, cadmium, mercury, PCBs, all of which cause cancer. And we think, and fat cells bind toxins.
Hold on to it. Believe me.
Hold on, yeah.
And when I started on these products, I really have to say, I thought I had the flu within about 3 days. And I thought, what the world? And it got worse for about 10 days. I was detoxing. My body was getting rid of this stuff. And some people, it takes them 6 months to have that experience.
Drink a lot of water.
I lived at home. I stayed close to home.
Here's your weight tip for the day. Your body will never let go of fat cells if you don't drink enough water. And Americans are very dehydrated. And we don't drink enough pure water. And if you don't have water to flush the toxins,
it doesn't work.
The fat cells will never let go, because they're going to protect your body against all the toxins in the air and the water and the food and whatever. We have an onslaught of toxicity.
When I went through that detox is when I started to lose weight.
Yes.
And that's what I'm still doing. It's a little slow process, but I'm going to take it slow. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it.
Well, it's the same thing for the fish.
Can we answer that?
What pH are these products? Yeah, there's all this interest in products being more alkaline and alkaline water.
As opposed to acidity. I was involved in that.
Yeah, if you drink a glass of water with lemon juice every morning, you're going to alkalinize your body. So it really is not such a heavy duty. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I tell you what, I will find out and make sure that you know.
Okay.
pH is not an issue for me.
Okay.
Simply because I do lemon water.
Well, I do too. I have lemon all day long. I squeeze it into my water bottle. Yeah. And because I know
that will keep your body alkaline. Is it important? Is our diet basically acidic? Is that detriment to our health? Absolutely. And it's not an issue if you know how to keep your body alkaline. I eat a lot of plants. My diet is basically living, growing. I do a lot raw. You should do something raw at every meal, because you want those live enzymes from the plants. Will help with digestion, so I don't have digestive disorders, and I don't have an issue with alkalinity. So, but I'll find out what is the pH of these products.
Okay, that's a good question.
If you do a commercial, I'll read the label. It's been a while since I've read the label.
Well, we've had a phone number and our name's running across the bottom of the screen, but if you're listening on the website, perhaps you haven't heard it. So let me give the number out. 801-362-9552. 801-362-9552. If you want to know more about this or more about either one of us, we're pretty open, however. Yeah. But let's go on with your story, because you got into these about
the omegas
2 years and 9 months ago. So
yes. Okay, let me just finish with the omegas. It's from wild caught Alaskan salmon. So Alaska's some of the purest, coldest water left on earth. And at least you're getting wild caught. If it is farm fish, you go to the grocery, you could see the farm fish for $8 a pound.
Don't they have to put color in the salmon?
They have to add color, because the fish cannot get down and eat crustaceans. It is eating shrimp and the whole shell that makes them their bright pink color. Well, the wild Alaskan sockeye salmon is almost red. It's not just pink, it's almost red. And because they're wild fish, they eat sea plankton the first year of their life, sea vegetables, and then they begin eating the shrimp and crustaceans, and that's what gives them that bright red color. and our product is guaranteed to be mercury free, whereas most manufacturers put on the label may contain mercury. It most certainly does, because most of the water, the seas of the world are polluted.
Now, somebody said the other day, she said, I just bought a bottle of this and it cost me $50. And she said, I want to keep taking it. And my comment about that is, you're wasting your money, number one. And number two, you're not going to get the benefit, because it's got fish parts, it's got mercury in it. Practically anything you buy off of the shelf.
Off of the shelf, I don't care what you pay for it. There's one product doctors are prescribing that is called Laveza. It's $180 a month. This is $32. It is wild Alaskan sockeye salmon, so it is high quality omega-3. It's very expensive. Ours is high quality wild Alaskan sockeye salmon omega-3. And their product cannot hold a candle to this one, because all manufacturers, be it from the cheap toxic stuff that I call a cesspool of poison, thinking you're doing something for your health.
And you're not.
And but all of them use vitamin E to prevent the oxidation of the fish oils. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's common vitamin E in our Sunrise product, which is why this is Sunset. And I'll tell you why. There's a Dr. Barry Tan, who's a Chinese American. He's most known for his research with lutein and carotenoids. And he was down in Ecuador. He noticed a plant that it was unfamiliar to him. It's called the annatto bush. And he noticed it had a bright red flower and fruit. It looked like maybe a prickly pear. And he opened it, and it was nothing but a big seed pod, a bright red seed pod. And inside were lots of little red seeds. And he knows strong color means strong nutrition. So he took them back to his lab, and it is the only plant source ever discovered in the world of pure isolated vitamin E tocotrienol. Here's the biology lesson. Vitamin E, common vitamin E, is 4 parts tocopherols. And if you go to your vitamin cabinet, you'll see either delta tocopherols or alpha delta tocopherols. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's alpha, beta, delta, gamma tocopherols. And it's bound to 4 tocotrienols, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, bound together in a single compound, and that's common vitamin E. That is in this product.
Okay.
Pure and isolated, and 90% delta tocotrienols. Now, you're asking me, well, why is that important? I'm sure you got up this morning asking, tocotrienols, especially the delta.
Mary Louise, it took me a month to learn to say it.
I just got back from Mexico, and this guy is still saying chocotrocals.
Tocotrocals.
It's hard. We'll teach you. But anyway, tocotrienols. Why is that important? Well, let's see. If you go to U.S. National Medical Library online is PubMed for public medicine, pubmed.gov, and put in the search box tocotrienols. Now you're going to have to call Pat to get the spelling. But anyway, you'll pull up hundreds, if not thousands, of research articles. It will be talking about 2 big issues, others minorly. The 2 big issues. Let's see now. You've heard of statin drugs?
Yes.
To lower cholesterol?
Yes.
Have a lot of side effects.
They
Read them
do.
sometime. You won't want to take
No.
it. Yeah, people read the side effects. They'd never take anything. It was synthetic. But
synthetics aren't too good for you, and they can kill you.
tocotrienols reduce LDL cholesterol, the bad stuff, and triglycerides. 70% more effective than statin drugs. 70% more effective than statin drugs. I can say that on in a public forum, because you can read the research for yourself. It's true.
Okay.
It is a fact. And no known side effects. Read the side effects of statin drugs.
You know, I had one person out of hundreds tell me they even could taste a little fish. That was the only side comment that's been made at all. And I didn't have that experience.
No, it's designed to be digested in the small
right.
intestines and not in the stomach, so you don't burp back fish oils. I think that's an important fact too. No, I've never had that problem with it. But anyway, these tocotrienols not only are dramatic in supporting cardiovascular health, and maintaining cardiovascular health. They are also very dramatic in fighting against cancer. I won't get into why they work. Read some of the research. And basically, they don't. They're anti-angiogenic. Everybody knows what that means, right? Tumors secrete a chemical in the tissues, and it causes blood vessels to grow. You'll even see tumors; they'll be covered with rich supply of blood vessels, and that's how they feed themselves and grow wild. And the tocotrienols interfere with that process.
And stop it.
The tumors starve, and they regress and die. I think killing tumors is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
They're having dramatic response with pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, those kinds of aggressive cancers that are not good diagnoses. That is not a good day when you get a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. And their breast cancer being very, very effective.
I hear you saying, and I heard this before, first of all, let me say our country seems to have a hard problem, a tough problem in our culture to prevent things happening to us that aren't good. Other countries don't seem to have that problem. They are taking the Asian market in particular, and now in Mexico, they take products to prevent cancer, to prevent heart problems, to prevent diabetes. We seem to wait until we get it and then load up on prescription drugs instead of finding things
and
like
poison
this,
our body to
with killing our liver off.
With an inch of
with
survival.
Prescriptions. Right. And so I'm excited about this because regardless of age, my kids are on, some of my kids are on this. I want to get my grandchildren on it to prevent all of these tumors or things that could happen. Inflammation anywhere in our body.
How much of a problem do you think cancer is more today than it was when you and I were children?
Huge.
100
it's like an
times
epidemic.
More cancer. 1 out of 2 American men will have cancer. 1 out of 3 American women will have cancer in their lifetime. That is a horrible statistic to live day by day with. Fortunately, we have products that help you with stress.
Okay, we've got just about 12 minutes left, so I want to get through these two we
this
know
is
about.
a breakthrough product in human health. And by the way, the quality of omega-3 is so high that ADD, I have 5 sons, and my youngest has had ADD his entire life. He got his first 3 A's. Makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
And this makes a difference with ADD.
Right before all of these, they can take them before they go test, and we're seeing
my
results.
Granddaughter,
People
people ask me about the little tykes. She's applying for law school. My little granddaughter. I could be a great grandmother. Anyway, I tell her, don't get serious yet. Get your education. Don't get serious till you're 30.
Wait a minute. On the Taekwondo mat, they call you the ninja.
Ninja grandma.
The ninja grandma, because she looks so innocent, and she bats her eyes and talks in her little southern accent, and then she kills.
I back up acting like I'm afraid, said the spider to the fly. Okay. And then I kick them in the head. They go, now I'm known. They go, watch out for the old woman. She will knock you out.
Oh, my goodness,
anyways,
you're great.
Depression. I have never seen drugs.
A mood leveler.
Oh.
It is, so wonderful.
Oh, antidepressants. One of the side effects is suicide. I go, that's a hard cure for depression. It does cure depression.
It does.
But
this
anyway,
is a better way to go.
This is a better way to go because no known side effects, and people with depressive disorders for years, 1 or 2 days on this, they're functioning like a normal human being.
I met a woman and talked to her personally, and you know who she is because you were conducting that meeting.
Yes.
She was sitting behind me crying her head off.
Yes.
Just crying and crying, and I thought, what is the matter? She just I could hear the tear, hear her crying. And
you get
she's
your life
wiping
back, it's emotional.
She had not been in her kitchen for 5 years, had not been out of bed for depression, and she started on these products, got up, got dressed. The kids had not seen her. Young children had never seen her.
No, her mother had to come live with her.
Right. It was
to take care of the children and her, because if you left her alone on her 5 prescriptions for antidepressants, she would try to commit suicide.
I know. It was horrible.
And
so
the woman is a normal, functioning person.
She is.
People with sleep disorders improve in 1 night. People who haven't slept in 30 years.
Finally get
I don't have
sleep.
that problem. But even with mine, I noticed that I was sleeping less and sleeping deeper and waking up with 6-7 hours sleep instead of 9. I noticed as the older I got, the more I slept. And I thought, oh, good, I'm getting ready for the big sleep. Like my cat who sleeps all day, you know, she's older. And but now I wake up bright and alert. I have visitors, old friends from San Francisco, and this guy has led seminars all over the world. He's worked with my husband, and he actually was really getting tired. He's 68, almost 69, and of course, you come to my house, you get on these products, and I gave them all the products. He says, you know what? I got up this morning feeling more alive than I had felt in 10 years.
It happens to all of us. It happens. I know, it's amazing.
So let's
It might
go
help
quickly.
you too, and that's why we're doing this, because somebody out there needs our help. And so if you will call 801-362-9552. I'm Pat Sheranian, and this is Mary Louise Zeller. And we've got a few minutes left, and we're going to tell you about a knockout product that is not on the planet anywhere else in this form, and what it has done for all of us and the athletes. And if we've got enough time, let's just work it in. The weightlifting.
The demonstration.
Yeah, well, and the weightlifting thing that you went up to in Idaho Falls.
Oh, yes.
And talk about all the records they broke.
Okay, so this is not only health and function, it's high performance. My favorite product, because nobody likes to lose the ability to do everything you love to do. That's a poor reward for a life well lived. And this has given me back my youth. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I see the older wrinkled face and I go, who is that old person? Because I feel like I'm 30 again.
It's true.
Yeah,
that's
it is true.
All right, you tell about it. I'm going to take it.
Nitro FX. It is a plant root, the noni root. They noticed about 15 years ago that they were raising nitric oxide levels slightly. People taking the noni fruit, nasty tasting thing too. But the noni root is quite a pleasant herbal taste. But anyway, they went to work on the research. And what they discovered is using the plant, the leaves, the stem, the root, they were raising dramatically the levels of nitric oxide in the body. Now, why is that important? 3 medical researchers got a Nobel Prize in 1998 for linking levels of nitric oxide, not to be confused with nitrous oxide, which is what the dentist gives you to take a trip without leaving the farm. Nitric oxide is responsible for all cell function. You can live 5 minutes without oxygen. You cannot live 5 seconds without nitric oxide. All cell function, the repair, the defense, the maintenance of every cell of the trillions of cells in your body depend on nitric oxide. They noticed that even though it's produced in all the cells of your body, there's a large amount produced by the endothelial cells that line the lining of the interior walls of the arteries. They thought, it's producing a lot of nitric oxide. I wonder if the level of nitric oxide has something to do with cardiovascular health. And they went to work on the research, and they discovered that it was directly related. Some people could live to 100 and never have heart disease, and they will have high levels of nitric oxide. Some people could be 30 and have heart disease, and they will have low levels of nitric oxide. Very directly related. Nitric oxide is first a vasodilator. It expands arterial width, and so therefore you're getting greater blood flow. Also,
is this in just around the heart, or isn't it in the everywhere?
All
everywhere.
The arteries, even the capillaries in your lungs, which is why you're losing weight, because it increases metabolism, because you're getting greater exchange of oxygen. Oxygen produces higher metabolism.
Okay.
So it is carrying more oxygen to every cell in your body. Also, the arteries, you have atherosclerosis, which is a buildup of plaque on the inside of your arteries. Nitric oxide reduces inflammation. All 3 of our products are incredibly anti-inflammatory, which is why people with arthritis get better right away. And but even your heart disease, I don't care how high your cholesterol is, it would not stick to the inside of your arteries if there was no inflammation. So it reduces inflammation.
Somebody said it just melts it away.
It dissolves very safely. If that plaque breaks off in large chunks, red blood cells rush to engulf it. That's called a blood clot. That to the heart is a heart attack. That to the brain is a stroke. So plaque is very dangerous. This dissolves it.
It dissolves it.
And it makes then eliminates issues of hardening of the arteries, because when you get that buildup of plaque, you get less flexibility. The heart pumps and there's muscle in the arteries, and the arteries expand and allowing to fill with blood. When the heart stops the beat, the arteries are supposed to squeeze the blood forward. If they're hard and inflexible, they don't do that, and the heart has to work harder, blood pressure goes up.
Right.
Okay? So this helps, these two products help cardiovascular function. You begin functioning like a young person, like a normal human being.
It's true. It's really,
Yeah.
I mean, I was taking naps. I wanted to take 2
big
naps
sleep.
a day.
Getting ready for the big sleep.
And now I'm functioning on about 5 hours of sleep, and it's more than I've had
you're
before.
more alive.
I am more alive. I have energy. I have been on radio for 20 years, and it's been 6 or 7 years since I've been on the radio. I was on television years ago in the Los Angeles area. I retired from all of that. I was looking for a rocking chair to sit on my front porch. And here I'm doing it all over
Now
again.
you're working again.
I am. I'm having so much fun. I want to just say a couple more things about this. It truly is different. There's nothing like it.
Nothing
This
on the
is
market.
not nitric oxide.
Patented.
This triggers our bodies.
It is
to
a
create.
precursor. And the other big effect is that it is a neurotransmitter. That's a fancy word for saying signaling molecule. Every cell in your body communicates through neurotransmission, and it works as a unified organism in that way. If there's no communication, there's no organization. Organization is disease. Lack of organization is disease. Okay, so this renews that. And guess how your brain works?
A lot better.
Neurotransmission.
Yeah.
That's the way the brain works. These two products together, no Alzheimer's, no dementia.
I live
And
on
people with Alzheimer's
Get
and
better.
with dementia improve dramatically. We have
true.
many testimonials now.
I could pull out of my driveway, drive down my hill, which you have to go left or right, and I used to have to pull over and think, where am I going? Because I got in the car and got distracted by whatever I was doing, and within really seconds, forgot where I was supposed to go. No more. I mean, things are sharp as they were truly 20, 30 years ago.
I used to count the number of times a day that I would have the senior moments where you forget a word that you know is totally common to your vocabulary. My mother died with Alzheimer's, and that runs in families. And so it scared me, and I would count, and it was getting worse. I don't count because it doesn't happen now.
Doesn't happen.
Obviously, we have not had a senior moment yet today.
We have 2 minutes, and I have to brag on this lady. She brought me in. Micah Kagi brought her in. Larry Barkdahl is part of our team. He helped bring me in. And last weekend, Larry, myself, and Joyce Chan all won a new Audi $40,000 car. And Mary Louise won over the weekend. She made Blue Diamond.
Yes.
She already has a $60,000 car, 2 cruises.
And it's a different experience driving a luxury car when somebody else is paying the bill.
It's true. And she worked hard, and her people under her worked hard. And together, she comes out with a $25,000 bonus check.
Yes.
And
that's a great game to win. But here's the thing, Kyani works. They not only have breakthrough products, they have a breakthrough compensation plan that will change the industry. We pay from, instead of so many levels down from the top, that's why they got that pyramid reputation. All the biggest volume, you get cut off from commissions on it. You've shared that. It all began with you. Ours pays from the bottom up on everything.
On everything.
On everything.
There is no breakaway.
Creates team and community. And that's the specialness too. We can help others without sacrificing ourselves. Actually, we serve ourselves by serving others first.
It's true.
And the plan is designed for that. So it literally pulls you into teamwork.
Mary Louise, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate your being here. You've been in Mexico, you've been in Japan, and you're taking off for San Francisco pretty soon.
And Asia.
And Asia.
Yeah, if you would like to expand your life and expand your results and expand your health and expand your total experience of life, with Kyani, you experience more.
I'm grateful for having you here with me. I'm grateful for Kyani. I'm grateful for Kent Vorkink, who keeps us on the air and lets us know what's going on. We appreciate him. We'll be here tomorrow with a new guest, and I'll be back today at 12 noon with the guest, and tomorrow about Kyani at 9 in the morning, Utah time. And at noon today, we've got people coming on that I think you'll really be looking forward to seeing and hearing. Will be on radio, 1480 AM, and also streaming pat.utahvalleylive.com. Thank you for being with us, and have a great, healthy day.